Pulling into Jericho. Yeah, Jericho is a very interesting place. It's a Palestinian city these days, but it's very likely, it claims to be the oldest continually inhabited city in the world. And it's a, if it's not true, it's one of two or three candidates. So it is very likely the oldest continually inhabited city in the world. What you have to think is that really, really ancient people, they just couldn't move rocks and water and land like we do. And so where they planted cities, it was sort of predetermined by what the land did. And if you're an ancient person, you really need water. You really need to be able to plant crops. And it's very, very helpful if you're on a natural road or trade route. So you can trade the things that you make for things other people make. And Jericho has all three of those ingredients in spades. It's down here in this, hot, baked desert, but it's a true and very large oasis. A lot of groundwater just pushes up here. And as you notice, even as we're pulling into it, you can see that it's green, which is really, really strange, considering that it's all desert all around. And a lot of places throughout the city, you can just touch the ground and the ground is moist, which is, again, sort of quite strange. But it's because the rainwater from up in the mountains above comes out down here at the base of the hill. So it's a true oasis. That means they got plenty of water. And because it's absolutely never cold down here, it's always hot, it's always sunny. They've got a true 12-month growing season. You can grow basically tropical fruit, but you're only about 30 miles from Jerusalem, but Jerusalem's 4,000 feet higher. It's much colder, and what can be grown up there is completely different. And so by having that natural trade route, you can trade your tropical stuff for their temperate stuff. So between the trade, growing, water, this place has always been here. The cities in the desert, it shouldn't really be here, except for the fact that it has a huge water source that makes this land incredibly fruitful, actually. And this is the main spring. This water is enclosed in this building. It's coming up right out of the ground. It pours out through here. They've got it piped. You can see down there. That becomes the main water supply for the city. And there's also other springs around, but this is the main one. And this is likely the spring that's mentioned in 2 Kings chapter 2, when Elisha comes to Jericho and they say, oh, the city's in a good place and we got a spring, but the water's bad. And Elijah, well, I'll read it to you really quickly. It says, Elisha went out to the spring of water, threw salt in it, and says, this is what the Lord says. I have healed this water. No longer will death or unfruitfulness result from it. Therefore, the water remains healthy to this very day, according to the words of Elisha. So, likely this is the place that happened. And now, to this very day, it's the city's water source. So that's kind of cool. I just wanted you guys to see this, to understand why a city the size of this, with several tens of thousands of people, could exist in the dead desert down here because of a big old giant spring that feeds it with water. Locals will tell you this is the sycamore tree. It's a sycamore tree. I don't believe it's the one. They don't live 2,000 years. But it's great to see a big old healthy sycamore tree here in Jericho. What I like about it is the fact that it does confirm the accuracy of the Bible story, because the Bible tells us that Zacchaeus climbed specifically a sycamore tree. Well, that's really interesting, because sycamore trees don't grow all over the land. They only grow in a very few places where it's hot, like it is down here, but where there's also quite a bit of water, which there also is here in Jericho due to the springs. So it's very specific places throughout the country where we can even get these trees growing. Jericho's one of them, and it just so happens that the story mentions that. So it's a great little detail that sort of verifies that the authors knew what they were talking about, and we got a good story in our Bible. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, click like and subscribe. It really helps us. And if you really enjoyed it, go on over to our website, glandofthebible.com, and become a supporter. It helps us generate more content and gives you access to our full library of video and Bible study content.